Hello friends! Welcome to week 4 of my NFL predictions. Last week went pretty well. We got 12 out of 16, which is fairly good considering there were a few surprises down the scoreboard, but we avoided the vast majority of them. We kind of hedged the bets a little bit. Chiefs coming up big on Monday night, that was a big one. So 12 out of 16, not bad. We will go into week 4, see what happens. Start off, Broncos versus the Jets. Thursday night. Two behemoths of the football world. Maybe not. Maybe not. It's a horrible prospect, isn't it? The Broncos are down to their third string quarterback. Hello, Brett Ripien. Blake Bortles not quite good to go for them yet. Still learning the playbook, etc., etc. They've got new injury worries on the defensive side of the ball as well. Gerald Casey out for the season with a torn bicep. Let's talk about the Jets. The Jets are rancid. Can't add much to that. However, it's no surprise that the two top scoring fantasy defenses last week were playing these two teams. That said, I'm going to do the unthinkable. I'm going to choke on these words as I put them out. I would like to predict a Jets victory. Just enough for Adam Gase to keep his job and keep the Jets in eternal limbo. Jets by 7. I kind of want to be wrong on that one, but I kind of want to be right at the same time. Sunday's early games now, starting with the Saints and the Lions. Both teams are 1-2 to start the season. And with the Saints, I think a lot of that, is down to them losing Michael Thomas early on. He will probably be back for this one. No real means to tell yet. They're kind of really hedging their bets a little bit on it. It's the problem with doing my prediction videos so early in the week, I suppose. But, we get over it. All things considered, I'm going to take the Saints here. I think it's a bounce back game for them. They'll do well against the Lions, surely. With or without Michael Thomas. Either way, Saints by 13. Now, the Chargers and the Buccaneers next. The Bucs are off the back of a big defensive showing against the hapless Broncos, as mentioned earlier. The Chargers somehow managing to lose against the McCaffrey-less Panthers. So, the form going in, you'd have to go with the Bucs here. But, I really feel like there's a little bit more to this game. It's a tough one. Officially, I'm going to take the Buccaneers by 5. But I really feel like this one could go either way. It's my bogey for the week, I think. Going into the Jaguars and the Bengals. It's a colossal coming together of football kings. After a decent start to the season, I threw Gardner Minshew into my fantasy lineup last week. So much for experimentation. The Bengals are coming off the first tie of the 2020 season with the Eagles after what was just a calamity of a game in the end. But Joe Burrow, crucially, starting to look like a guy who could become very good down the line, I think. I reckon he does well in this one and takes the Bengals to their first win. Bengals by 4. Up next, unexpected basement battle. The Vikings versus the Texans. Both teams still looking for their first win of the year. Looking at how both teams have played, it's far more difficult to see the Vikings finding a win here than it is the Texans. You'd think there's a good chance for a bounce back here from Deshaun Watson as well. So, Texans by 8. Cowboys hosting the Browns next after a scoreboard torching encounter with the Seahawks last week. Dak had an absolute monster of a game again, passing nigh on 500 yards. It was pretty close with 470 or so, and almost taking the team to a second consecutive last-minute drive, which would have tied the game, but threw an interception, and they fell just short. But, coming within a touchdown, the Seahawks can't be too bad. Browns got themselves into the win column again against Washington, and they are now 2-1, despite not playing very well. Can only really see one winner here, although could be another pretty high-scoring game, I would say. I've got Cowboys by 11. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the moment you've all been waiting for. It's Dolphins time! Yay! We're hosting the Seahawks in what will very obviously be a clear blowout victory. For the Seahawks. Really, as much as the Seahawks' defense has looked vulnerable for the season so far, Russell Wilson's dragging them out of whatever hole they find themselves in, and I honestly don't see us holding him back very much, to be fair. He's just set a new NFL record for touchdowns in the first 3 games, 14 passing touchdowns, and honestly, if he puts his mind to it, he could get another 7 here, no problem. Sorry, Dolphins, I still love you, but I need to be reasonable. If we get the good side of Fitzpatrick again, it could be the highest scoring game of the week by a long way. Bottom line though, taking the Seahawks by 16. Never wanted to be more wrong, but honestly, I'd probably eat this shirt if we actually beat the Seahawks. So, Next up, the only matchup this week between undefeated teams. The Steelers visiting the Titans. The Titans have surely to goodness set a record for lowest total margin of victory by a 3-0 side. They've won by 2, 3 and 1 point each week. So it's a total of 6. I can't be bothered to do the research. It'd take hours to confirm it, but it certainly feels like it's true. A scraped win is still a win, though. Unfortunately for them, they're coming up against the Steelers side that never really looked in danger of letting anyone scrape past them. So, that in mind, I've got the Steelers by 7. We've got the Cardinals visiting the Panthers next. Both sides coming off of pretty unexpected results, as far as I'm concerned anyway. The Cards lost to the Lions, and the Panthers conspired to beat the Chargers somehow. Still no McCaffrey for the Panthers. He's on injured reserve, so he'll be gone for at least this week and next. Presumably there may be more after that as well. Difficult to tell with injuries of that ilk. Might have been a defeat for the Cards last week, but the Kyler Nuke Express is still rolling down that track. 10 catches, 137 yards I think it was for Nuke. And I reckon it's enough to keep them going over the line here. Cardinals by 6. Next up we have the Colts. Fresh off a blowout win against the Jets, facing the 3-0 Bears, who, despite an undefeated start to the season, have seen fit to throw Mitch Trubisky out with the true bathwater after yet another poor start to a season for him, and surely to God, barring injuries, that is probably it for him. They'll be running with Nick Foles, at least for the foreseeable. Bears had a big comeback victory last week, more on that later, believe me. But they didn't look great for a 3-0 side. Can they ride their luck? Yes, I think so. As you can see, kind of hit it up a bit early, but, it's not a big surprise. Bears by 4. And last up for the early games, we have the Ravens making the very short trip to the capital to face the football team. Both teams are coming off of 14-point losses in week 3. A crucial story, though. You know, the Ravens were up against the Chiefs. Washington were not. Washington could be without the number 2 overall draft pick, Chase Young. He was taken out of the game with a groin injury. It appears from early reports to not be massively serious, but his status for the week is a big question mark hanging over the game. It would be a huge loss if he can't go for Washington against the best rushing offense in the league. You know, he's a good player to have to stop the run. I think either way, though, let's be honest, you can be confident in a Ravens victory here. It has potential to get very ugly if Chase Young can't go. Maybe that's just me, but I am going Ravens by 20. Sunday evening. Sunday. Giants and the Rams. The Rams fell just short of one of the comebacks of all time. The Bills led 28-3 early in the second half. Early in the first half, that would be incredible. Eventually, the Rams brought it back, went 32-28 ahead, and then Josh Allen woke up from his nap and shoved his team over the line. The Giants, on the other hand, proved that they can't even compete with half of the 49ers, and they were absolutely blown apart. This could get very ugly again. I'm going to go with the Rams, obviously, by 24. Okay, I may have called a couple of games earlier, jokingly, colossal tussles and behemoths of football, but this is the real marquee match for the week. It is the 2020 Patriots going up against the 2000 Patriots. I mean the Chiefs. Both teams looked really good last week, beating Raiders and Ravens respectively, both by double digits. Smart money says the Chiefs keep the unbeaten record here, although Bill Belichick is always capable of upsetting the odds. Got to play the money line though. Chiefs by 9. Bills taking on the Raiders next. Josh Allen continuing to prove his early season hype. He had another 300 yards passing and 5 touchdowns last week. And if you think the Raiders defense, who are shipping 30 points a game, are going to stop the J train, you are fundamentally and provably wrong. There is only one way this game can go. Bills by 16. Sunday night's game. The 49ers with fresh injury troubles, which should surprise no one. Jordan Reed leaving the game last week thanks to a knee injury. He's landed on IR, of course. Taking on the talentless Eagles. The Niners beat the Giants by 27 last week, despite everyone predicting, maybe scraping a victory. Who knows what's in store for them this season. The Eagles have their own injury worries now, of course. Deshaun Jackson, Jalen Reagor, both facing time out with injuries. No time frame for Alshon Jeffrey coming back. Can't foresee them causing any trouble to the 49ers in this game. Niners by 17. And last up, we have Monday Night Football. Packers and the Falcons. Now, Stato's Corner time. Couple of little tidbits for you. The Packers are averaging over 40 points a game, which is phenomenal going. They lost Davante Adams last week. He couldn't go. Didn't matter. They still put 37 past the Saints. But boys and girls, we need to talk about the Falcons. Up to and including last year, no team had ever lost more than one game having held a lead of 15 or more points in the fourth quarter. The Falcons have just shattered that record by doing it not only twice in a season, but in back-to-back games. The Bears had their quarterback pulled from the game. They were playing that badly, and the Falcons still blew it in the last quarter. There's some good news for them, in that I can't see them taking a 15-point lead in this game, so they can't do it back to back to back. The bad news for them, however, is the Packers could blow them out. Packers by 13. Could be more. But that is going to do it for this week. I feel like the predictions were easier to do this week than they were last week. So that absolutely means I'm going to tank them completely and end up with like 3 right. Gonna come back next week with my tail tucked between my legs. But for now I'm confident. We'll see. Tune in next week to find out. Thanks for watching as always. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.